Welcome to a run through on the Geyser-wise integration. A really exciting new option for automating your Geyser. So here we've got an app that comes with this new Wi-Fi connected device, and here I've labeled it and put it on my home screen on my iPhone. Just call it My Geyser with my address there. So first I'm going to run you through the app, and then we're going to go take a look on the Victron VRM app, how we integrate the Geyser with your Victron power system so that we can provide some clever functionality like automatic control and an intelligent operation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the My Geyser app. So here we go. We've got the Geyser app opening up right now, and we can see a couple things. So first up top here, you can have a number of these Geyser controllers connected. So you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Geysers, and you could select them from the drop down menu. But I've just got one Geyser connected right now. I can see here in the at the top that I'm heating on EXT demand, and that means that it is heating the Geyser because my Victron system has sent an instruction to heat the Geyser. So that's what that means over there. And here I can see my water temperature of my Geyser. I've got 52 degrees Celsius, and I can see next to that the element with a little circle there is orange, and that means that the element is on. And if the element was switched off, you'd see this turn into a light blue color. So that tells me that the element is on, and I'm heating the Geyser. It's going to try and heat the Geyser up to the set point temperature over here. And unlike with your normal Geysers, which have got a thermostat in the roof, first advantage here is I can go change my thermostat temperature right here from the app. So here, set point temperature, currently at 60 degrees Celsius. I can click on that. It brings up this vertical slider, and I can go change the temperature of the set point. Apologies, it looks like I've just lost a Wi-Fi connection. It's come back there. So I can change the position of the the set point temperature. So I'm going to go change this to let's go maybe 50, maybe a little lower here. It seems to be glitching out a little bit because I'm on my computer, but there we go. So you get the picture. So I can change the set point temperature of the Geyser, much easier on the phone, but I'm emulating this now on my computer, and that's why the slider is probably a little bit sticky there. And I can also send a manual instruction. So, if anybody's familiar with the Geyser-wise product, you'd have like a red button, and you can switch your Geyser element on manually to boost the Geyser up to the set point temperature. And here again, now you have that functionality available right from your smartphone. You can click this boost slider, and it'll then boost your Geyser until it gets to the set point, and then it'll switch off. We've got some modes just below here, and in the standby mode here, this is what we use for when we're controlling the Geyser intelligently from a Victron solar power system. But you could also control it just with an ordinary timer. So here I've got heat on timers. Yes, I'm going to enable that mode. And now timer mode is activated. I can go see the timers right here. And again, anybody who's used the conventional Geyser-wise system knows the kind of the process of how you would change the timer values for a Geyser system. So here, nice and easy, I've just set my daily timer window to start at 12 o'clock, and I can go change that value over there, and I can change when it ends, and I can also change the set point temperature. So you can create these timers for different days of the week, a weekend timer or a weekday timer, and different set point temperatures. But right now, for my system, I'm not going to be running it with a timer. I'm running it in the solar or the intelligent mode, where it gets instructions from my Victron solar power system. Just below here, it gives you a little timeline of the temperature of your Geyser, and the little red dots show when your Geyser element was heating. Then we've got element usage, and this just shows how many hours each day and each week your Geyser element has been switched on. So that's effectively the app over here, nice and simple. It effectively just gives you all those controls, but with the luxury of accessing it straight here from the app. We're going to move on to the Victron VRM app now. So I'm going to close that down. I'm going to go to VRM, and I'm going to scroll up and go to my system. Let's go type it in like this. So I'm going to go to my system, and if I look here right now, I can see my system on my VRM display. And if I scroll down, you're going to be able to see now that I can see geyser temperature right here on my VRM app. So I've got a number of temperature sensors on my system measuring my my equipment, but right here I can see the geyser temperature, and that's really, really convenient. In addition to this, I have a function where I never even have to use the Geyser app. I can manually trigger my Geyser element to switch on or switch off right from the remote console. So in remote console over here, I can load this up, and we're now going to be able to go see here. I've got my overview of my remote console, and ordinarily you see this this switch over here where effectively you could change your ESS mode from keep batteries charged or optimized with battery life, and a number of different settings here. But I now have a second switch up top here, right next to the first switches. And this gives me the ability to see if my geyser element is switched on or off. And here I can see that my geyser element is currently on. And I could switch it off right here from the Victron VRM app. So I could switch that off, but because the automation is currently switched on, I know that it's going to want to try and heat that geyser, and it'll probably switch it back on shortly thereafter, as long as I've got enough battery and enough solar. So what the system is doing, in addition to giving me control from the VRM app, it's taking a look at a number of pieces of data, of information. So the first clever automation is that it's not going to overload my inverter. So what the system will do is it will monitor, and if the inverter reports an overload warning, which means we're getting close to overloading the inverter, it will automatically switch off my geyser, and that avoids overloading the inverter. Another advantage is that it looks at how much battery I've got, and I've programmed this system so that if I've got less than 30% battery, to not allow my geyser element to be switched on. So geyser element will get switched off as soon as I've got 30% or less, if I've got an overload condition, and we can even include if the system doesn't have enough solar power to rather than disable the element. So a number of clever switches and controls available from the Victron system to effectively control your geyser, and rather not run it in a ordinary fashion, which relies simply on timers and heating to the right setting. So here we can see again at the bottom I've got geyser temperature that I can see, and that'll be the same as what I see on the app for my particular geyser. I can see that it's on, I can switch it on and off, and I can change its mode, and I can set how hot I want my geyser to get to.